the United States was supposed to build a strategic Bitcoin reserve. But 16 months after President Trump signed the order, the government still has not decided exactly how it will work. And that matters because the market treated America's Bitcoin reserve like a finished deal. Here is what is actually happening. In March of 2025, President Trump signed an executive order establishing two federal crypto funds. The first was a strategic Bitcoin reserve designed to hold Bitcoin as a long-term national asset. The second was a broader US digital asset stockpile for other cryptocurrencies already controlled by the government. Most of the Bitcoin would come from assets seized through criminal and civil forfeitures. The order also said reserve Bitcoin should generally not be sold, treating it as a long-term national holding rather than an asset the government would regularly trade. But more than a year later, the reserve is still not fully operational. The White House says it is still evaluating the best structure for both funds. One unresolved question is which federal agency should control them. Reports suggest both the Treasury Department and Commerce Department have been considered, creating a debate over who should manage the assets. Until agencies agree on custody, security, reporting, and legal authority, the reserve remains more of a framework than an active federal fund. There is also the issue of Congress. An executive order can direct federal agencies, but it does not carry the same permanence as legislation. White House crypto advisors have said congressional support would help fully establish and protect the reserve over the long term. So far, no major reserve bill has advanced far enough to settle the issue. Another major mystery is how much Bitcoin the government actually controls. Some estimates place the total above 300,000 BTC, potentially worth more than $20 billion. But the government has not publicly confirmed the full number, and there is an even bigger question. Will the government ever buy additional Bitcoin? Trump's order instructed officials to explore ways of acquiring more BTC without creating extra costs for taxpayers. But no major federal Bitcoin purchase program has been announced. So for now, this is not the government buying billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin on the open market. It is mainly a plan to secure and retain Bitcoin the government already controls. That distinction matters. When the reserve was first announced, many investors expected it to become an immediate source of new demand. Instead, progress has been slow, and Bitcoin is trading in the low $60,000 range after a difficult stretch. Still, the reserve could become a major long-term catalyst if it is completed. A permanent US Bitcoin reserve would signal that the federal government views BTC as a strategic national asset rather than something it plans to auction whenever coins are seized. It could also encourage other governments to consider holding Bitcoin on their own balance sheets. But until the structure is finalized, the market is still waiting for action. While the government works out its Bitcoin strategy, investors are also researching projects attempting to expand what can be built around the Bitcoin network. One project attracting attention is Bitcoin Hyper. This is not financial advice, but Bitcoin Hyper is currently priced at $0.0136827 per token, and its next pre-sale price increase is expected in less than 12 hours. The project aims to bring faster transactions, greater scalability, and more utility to the Bitcoin ecosystem. For investors who believe Bitcoin's next phase will involve more than simply holding BTC, Bitcoin Hyper is one early-stage project worth researching. The Bitcoin Hyperlink is available in the description. Best Wallet app is also linked below and allows users to manage crypto, track assets, and explore newer projects from their phones. As always, research everything carefully and never invest more than you can afford to lose. So what is the takeaway? The strategic Bitcoin reserve has not been abandoned, but it is also not the fully operational national reserve many investors thought had already been completed. The government still needs to decide who controls it, how it operates, and whether it can acquire more Bitcoin without taxpayer funding. Until then, America's Bitcoin reserve remains one of crypto's biggest unfinished promises.